And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show. And this is going to be episode 342. So I hope you guys had a great day and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the MSK show, I am going to be having a conversation with Left Eye Ego. And this is going to be his first appearance on the show. So there is a little piece of fun trivia for you guys. For those of you guys who don't actually know this, Left Eye Ego originally appeared on my Batman podcast on my original YouTube channel before it got, let's just say, New 52'd by YouTube, actually. And after that, just like my dad, I never saw this guy ever again. He just apparently just gone. He just left, you know? Apparently he just started watching a bunch of wrestling and started doing a whole bunch of wrestling podcasts and did his own first episode of a podcast. I think it was with Mugen Lord. So he had his YouTube channel still, and God, good Lord, man. So essentially you left me like my dad, and I hadn't seen you in years. And I was like, oh, I remember that guy, because I remember I think John A. Douglas retweeted something you had said on Twitter, and I was like, oh shit, I remember who that is. I was like, damn, good Lord. So you're not at your usual setup that people normally see you, at, because you are on a business trip for work. Actually, you're not on vacation.
Yeah, they got me at an undisclosed location working out the Pacific Northwest for the week. So I've been out here since maybe Sunday. So weather's actually great. I can actually wear a hoodie and actually enjoy it. So I'll take it for what it is. So I'm all right out here.
So where are you at? Are you at Washington?
Yeah, I'm at pretty much in Washington State out here. So it's not too bad. It's been a little bit rainy, but I mean otherwise the weather's pretty nice. It's actually like it's supposed to be at this point. I mean, I do not get this weather in San Antonio until maybe January or February. So
Okay.
in San Antonio right now it's 75,
Oh,
maybe peak at
hell yeah.
80. But I mean here it's 45, 50. I can wear sweats and a hoodie and not have a heat stroke. So
When was the
I'm
last time
grateful.
you were at home?
Dude, I left on Sunday, so
Oh
I've been here for a
shit.
few days.
Oh
Yes, and I'm
God,
here
man.
till I think Friday night. So I don't get to work. I don't get home until maybe early Saturday morning at this point.
Oh shit.
So yeah, so I was like, all right, I can do this. I guess the first time they've had me do one of these types of work trips.
Mhm.
So it's not that bad actually. I guess it's worth it if nothing else for the weather.
Yeah. And to be fair, you do get to visit a entirely different state, which is completely out of your normal capacity for what, because you're usually based in Texas, right? You're in Dallas or you're in Austin.
Oh yeah, I'm in San Antonio, so
Oh,
it's
okay.
3 hours west of Houston, and
Okay.
an hour south of Austin. So
Yeah.
usually I see the people that are there Monday through Friday, not an issue. So when they have certain events like this, I'll be like, hey, they'll let me know in advance, like, hey, do you want to go out this way? This is what you'll be
Right.
doing. This is where you'll be, and this is your travel. So I was like, all right, I don't mind doing the travel at this point. I mean, I used to do that for the other job that I had before this one. So, and you get reimbursed for everything. They give you a per diem. It's not too bad. So, I mean, hey, if y'all want me to go someplace, put me on first dibs. I'll wind up heading out. So it's not bad at all.
Hell yeah. So it's been a while since we talked, actually. Good Lord. It feels like, damn, that episode I had you on for that show, was that 2019, 2020? Well, good
So I
Lord.
didn't get. It'd have been 2022 at the earliest.
Yeah,
I
yeah, it
think.
was around then. Yeah. So
Earliest.
for so when you appear on the show later in the life expectancy of this show later on, when the second and third appearances, at least we won't be doing this at those, because this already would have happened. Origin story. So you're called Left Eye Ego, and I don't even think I even ever asked you this on that original show. So obviously, if people don't actually know, when people have their first appearance on the shows, we usually get the origin stories and
Yeah.
content
Yeah.
creation journey out of the way. So did you get hit by someone and that's why your eyes like that, or did you get
The
or you get shot or something?
the most dramatic. It's very 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 ironic. I lost my eye while training for a non-contact martial arts tournament. I
Really?
swear to God. Yeah, that's
Someone
what
someone
happened.
someone kicked you?
No, it was so the way it was is we were doing some training when I lived in Philly, right? And
Okay.
so at this point, I was in my third year in my doctorate program. So I was thinking hey, I'll train for a non-contact martial arts tournament, and then maybe at some point I can move into like maybe mixed martial arts, something like that. So we're doing training for it, and the thing is, the way they want to set up is like, hey, you're a smaller guy, train to get someone bigger. That way, he learns how to train with someone smaller and quicker, and you can train with someone that might have more strength and make you
Mhm.
want to move. So all I know is I had my left hand up, but not my right one. And so all I know is he basically was trying to make contact with my eye, and then when he hit it, I'd had stitches in my eye that I'd had from another surgery, and the stitches popped. My lens came out. I detached my retina. Uh, I will say it is the weirdest thing. It is the most. They say when you detach your retina, they say it's like a if you could think about a clear curtain falling, that's what
Mhm.
it was like. And it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen before, and it was the last thing I ever saw in my right eye. Like it just did that, and it went like lights went out.
So, just to be specific, you can't see anything out of your eye. That one that's out, you can't see nothing out of it?
I mean, I can do maybe light. I can know if there might be a light on, but I mean, I can't see.
Oh my
I can't
god.
see much
Holy
else.
shit. So,
Yeah,
essentially, you're like Kenpachi from Bleach. You just have an eye patch on, so when you
I
take it
everyone
out,
says everyone says I should just wear an eye patch. I either get Itachi or I get Nick Fury. And so at
you
some
could
point,
be
I'm
Nick
probably
Fury.
gonna
Yeah, that's
do it.
true. Yeah.
I'm probably gonna do one of those
So,
at some
really, you
point.
lost your
So
left eye because a guy essentially hit you the wrong way during a combat practice.
yeah, it's the right eye. It's just that the left eye is all that's left. And so and the ego part comes from a few years after the eye, which was we were at Garden State Comic Con in like not a, like North New Jersey, pretty much like maybe
Mhm.
35 minutes from New York. And we did it was supposed to be a lightsaber battle.
Mhm.
And me and my buddies, Manimal and Excipitor, went to this show, and we had to do a lightsaber battle. Now, um, I was paired off with someone random. My buddies were paired off with each other, and so we actually did the lightsaber battle. Looked really great, and they caught mine all on video. When it came time for me to do theirs, I didn't know the difference between his camera and his the camera to record and the camera to take pictures. So I wound up taking a picture of this entire battle that he did, which was great. And they got so mad at me. They were like, ego. You were so upset that we were doing better than you. Your ego got in the way, and that's why you only did that. And so we put together and it was like left eye ego for both of those. And when I put out the EGO, I was like, okay, so to differentiate between Ego the Planet from Marvel, I'll put like EGO is extraordinarily gifted one, and basically that's what how the name came out to be. So it took a few years to get the name when I put it together, but I mean that's how it wind up coming out.
So, for most of your early life, you went to public school, right?
No, dude, I was homeschooled till I was like 13.
Really? You were homeschooled first.
Yeah,
Okay. So what
yeah. So
happened
I mean,
after that?
so after that, I wound up running the gamut of private school and then public school. So I hit public school when I was 15. So
That must have been pretty jarring going from being homeschooled most of the time to interacting with some degenerate delinquents from public school.
I mean, it was the thing is like I actually wanted to go to public school just because like I'm the oldest of four boys, so
Mhm.
if you're at home all the time, you don't have any friends outside the people that are related to you. You have to spend time with them.
Yeah.
So private school was okay, but it's not necessarily the real world. Like you don't just not have homework on Wednesday because it's church. That's not how real life works. So by the time I got to public school, I was excited. And the thing is, it was at a brand new high school that just opened. It was literally
Yeah.
like a block or two up to where we lived, and so it was certainly different, but I really enjoyed it. So I mean, it was a enjoyable experience for the most part. I mean, made friends and played on the football team. That's the only time I've ever played football. I'm never doing that again in the state of Texas. That was not a good idea. A lot of fun. You meet friends and like I learned how football works, but like nah, I'm not built for that. I realized I was good at math and sciences. It
Yeah.
reinforced it.
I did play
Reinforced
tennis
it.
in high school for about
Oh,
a
nice.
couple of years, and I realized it was a great experience learning how like being in an environment of a team and teamwork and
Mhm.
all that stuff. But there are some major douchebags when you play on teams, and I'm not even talking like just having like coaches. being like harshly critical of you. That just happens with fucking
Yeah.
coaching. But man, like these dudes, so many people were straight up like kiss asses and suck ups. And I was like, dude, just they would get so angry if you would like beat them at anything because that's their whole life. And it's like, god damn, man, this is just fucking insanely cringe. Like, and I was like, I had like a problem like maybe imposter syndrome. Like, was this really me? Like, could I really be that guy? But then no, I realized I was just a complete hack. Actually, I wasn't that
Man,
guy.
it is not. I will say tennis and golf are one of the hardest sports to play. My brother's played varsity high school tennis, and
Mhm.
he's a tennis coach now. And so, the pretty much from the training to all the ways they have to play. And I really want to take my brother to the U.S. Open at some point because I know that's what he would love to do. It's on his bucket list. He's seen Serena play several times at Indian Wells,
Mhm.
and he absolutely loves the sport. But I would just say, like, he told me when he got to college, he was saying he wanted to walk on, and then you find out people are being flown in from Australia to be on a team. You're like, nah, man, it's different. It's a different animal.
Yeah,
Like,
like
it's
I know
walking on is being recruited.
I know people watch tennis and they see people do a serve. Guys, you have to practice to make sure that serve goes over the net consistently because most people they think it's easy to just throw it
Mm-mm,
up and they'll smack the
no,
ball and it'll
mm-mm.
fly out across the street. Yeah, just even because tennis, the biggest thing about it is controlling when to use enough power to hit the ball enough to the point where you can get it over and actually controlling it enough so you don't actually, cost yourself points on serving
Oh
it
yeah,
over the actual because I've seen people who literally dude serve it and it hit someone's car. I've seen it people in the face. Oh my god. Yep, it's definitely not easy. I will say, but it taught me a lot about control and balance and power and all that stuff. Ping pong is somewhat like it, I guess. Ping pong,
Penny.
there's a name for what we call it. We call it desk tennis, actually. You know,
Have you played pickleball yet?
I never have honestly.
You would like it. It's right in between that. It's a step up. It's a step down from tennis, but it's really intense. Like my brother and my youngest brother play that all the time. Like people are out here tearing ACLs and tearing Achilles because it gets that serious. I mean, it's a lot of fun. And the thing is, I don't really play tennis like that. I can understand where it comes from. If you ever get a chance, do some pickleball, man. It's fun.
So after your life from homeschool, private and public school, what did you do after
I
that?
went I went to a private school for the 4 years, so I was pre med there, but it was different because it's like I went to a Bible college for medicine. So they used to have the school that I went to used to have their own medical school and it got shut down. The thought was that by the time that I get there and graduate, it would be reopened. It never did. So the thing is like you're going to school in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which it wasn't bad. It was just there really wasn't much to do there. You had to make your own fun. It's Have you seen Tulsa King at all? The Sylvester Stallone show?
I feel like I heard of it. I don't think I ever
Okay.
watched it.
Okay. I mean, if you watch it, part of Tulsa is like that. It's
Mhm,
gotten a lot better. It's just that you had to make your own fun. But
mhm,
applied to medical school, did not get in, and what wound up happening was the dean of my biology department met the dean of a program in Philly,
mhm,
and the dean in Philly was like, "Hey, our we have a program for people that want to get into medical school, vet school, optometry school, whatever school, right? And we've had someone from every school in the nation graduate from this program." And so the dean says like, "Hey, have you had anyone from our school?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Do you have a recommendation?" He recommended me. So after I graduated in May, I hopped on a plane in August to Philly. I ain't know nobody. I had never been there before. All I knew was that, hey, I'll be in this program that starts in Philly in August.
mhm.
So did that program for 2 years. Applied to school for audiology for like hearing and balance disorders and got in there. So like I lived in Philly from 2009 to 2021. So I was there for like 12 years.
Good lord.
So
Like
yes,
Philadelphia is Philadelphia as crazy bad as everyone always says it is?
every every video you see of people like cracked out and like leaning over, that's one place in Philly. It's called Kensington. Like
And that's considered probably like the ghetto trash, isn't it?
I I don't say that. I just say What if you're looking for drugs that'll have you leaning over on the street and you'll just people laying out? It's in Kensington. So Kensington is it's I don't even know how to explain it. It's that's where most of the drug videos that you see.
Mhm,
Um, I lived in Northeast Philly, which wasn't that bad. Have you seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
mhm. What happened?
You have. Have you seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
I heard of that show. Yeah, I've seen clips of it. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, where most of that stuff takes place at South Philly. That's where my wife lived when we met. That's
Okay.
not so bad. The main thing is, most of Philly is the touristy area. At least when I was there, you didn't want to go too far out in West Philly, and you wanted to avoid Kensington. Other than that, it was all right. It was hard being a Cowboy fan in Philly. I will say what is true is do not wear a Dallas Cowboys jersey in Philly. Like, do not go to the link, as in Lincoln Financial Field, with cowboy gear on by yourself. You might get jumped. I'm not.
Well,
That's you. You probably will get jumped. Like, they
the
take it that seriously.
the yeah, Philly when it comes to sports, these people are insane. And I'm an Eagles fan myself, but I don't. These people are
Mhm.
going absolutely crazy. They can never cheer for anything in basketball because the 76ers are usually just
That is
disgustingly
rough.
trash.
That is rough. I will tell you though that like my favorite baseball team is the Phillies. Like, because everyone they are so in on them. Like, I know that we're from where I live now. Everyone loves the Astros, but I'm like, no, I love the Phillies. If going to like the Phillies game is fun. There's always something going on. Like, I would think that baseball would be boring, but Phillies games have never been boring for me. Like, I've been to a Sixers game,
Yeah.
that can be so. I'm not allowed to link. I accept that. I didn't get a chance to go to a Flyers game, which I'm pretty sure I would have liked too. But I mean, their baseball team,
Are you overall a
they
baseball
irritate.
fan? Like, or you just watch it kind of casual, like some people do?
I played baseball till I was 12.
Oh,
I
okay.
was, I was I was pretty good at it. It's just, again, at a certain point, you realize that, especially when you move to Texas, because once we moved to Texas, I'm like, yo, you know what? I want to do all this. This is a lot. It was fun, but I mean, I had no concept of a curveball not thrown at me. I've seen them thrown.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen people strike them out, but I mean, I thought I was legitimately going to get hit, and it didn't hit me. And the umpire said strike three. I was like, I have never seen this before. I
Hmm.
don't know how I'm going to keep being able to do this. I mean, I played all positions from catcher to center field. I loved center field and shortstop. So I mean, I was watching. I watched baseball pretty much religiously, especially through the Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire home run battle. I trailed off right around Barry Bonds. That's it.
Hmm.
But I mean, I love Ken Griffey Jr. If I ever get a chance to buy the Ken Griffeys, I will probably buy those because those shoes were awesome.
Did you get around to seeing the World Series that just concluded with the Dodgers going back to back?
I saw a few. I was able to chance take a few games in, but
Yeah.
I didn't catch Game 7. Like, my wife has a pool tournament that she does, so we were out there for her pool tournament on Friday. But I mean, it was a classic. I can say that. I don't. Man, I think that what's his name? Shohei Otani, man. Like, is Shohei Otani? It is
Yeah.
Shohei Otani, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
because I keep forgetting because he was with the Angels and went to the Dodgers, right? That's what it was. Yo, man, that yeah, I know people talk about Babe Ruth, but I was like, you're gonna have to say Shohei because I have never seen anyone throw and hit like that. Like, the disrespect to strike someone out and then home run off be a pitcher. Like, that is so disrespect in itself. Man, I honestly think they're gonna wind up. I think you're going to wind up seeing more leagues or more teams try to go and look and see if they can find the next, Ichiro or Shohei Otani at this point, just because whatever. Actually, I forgot. Like, I know that most of his salary is deferred until after he retires, which is insane. Like, $750 million, and he's like, I'll just take it after I retire. You know, I
Mhm.
I don't know anyone you're going to meet that's going to give you a deal like that,
Mhm.
especially considering you won back-to-back World Series champions. And I think they're the first team to do that since like '93. I think is it been a while. since the team went back to back.
Yeah, I think the last.
So
I'm not that well versed in baseball, like NBA and NFL stuff like that. But I remember the last back to back they said was the Yankees in like the early 2000s. They said I was
okay,
like, okay,
25 years.
that's
Okay,
insane.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
insane. That means like on
So I
average
mean,
you've been having a different a different organization
yeah,
win every single year. That's actually a
yeah,
pretty that would actually show signs and indicate that's a pretty healthy scene that different teams can just win constantly like that.
exactly. I mean, it's. I guess the other thing is like it's 160 games, man. That's what makes it hard to watch baseball. Is there's so many games.
It's more
You
fun to
know,
watch it in person. Like even when we went and
mhm,
watched like there was this church group I was a part of a long time ago. We went and watched like I think it was like about an hour and 30 minutes away. This college kind of game. It was fun. It was very, very fun.
mhm,
Watching baseball in person is more fun than watching it at home. Like watching home is just straight up boring, honestly. Unless
it
you
is.
legitimately love the game, you're probably not watching it at home like that. Like
You have to love the game.
baseball would be the sport where you could easily see the viewership kind of go down because it's not
Mhm,
just not, it's a lot more tech. There's a lot more rules that people probably wouldn't know unless you like actually know about the game of baseball. Like basketball and football are just more easier to follow, just based off
yep.
like a casual watching it. A casual
Yeah.
is easy gonna know like, okay, guy dribbles here, guy passes, guy shoots and scores. Soccer easier, football easier, which is crazy because baseball has 160 fucking games a season. God damn, I would feel so bad if my team just was the best team in the regular season, only to just lose in the first round of the playoffs. I'd be so mad. I'd be so
Ex-
pissed.
and that's why I'd be upset. Like, hey, 160 games to go out and lose in the first round like that. I'm like, nah, I can't do this, man. This is a no for me. So yes, that's why it's just like I said, it's it can be slower to watch at home. I do know that we have a minor league baseball team in our city, but what I'm looking to see is if we actually get a team for Banana Ball. Have you heard of that?
Banana ball? No, no, I don't
Yeah.
think I've heard that
Oh,
ever.
bro, if you look up Savannah Bananas,
I thought, man, that
so
sounds like a porn star.
it
Oh,
you
it's
know what?
it's
In
the first link.
retrospect, yeah.
Savannah Banana. The Savannah
S-
Bananas is an
Yep,
exhibition
yep,
barnstorming baseball team based in
yep.
Savannah, Georgia, United States. They play. Oh, okay, I get you.
So for this one, it's like they've got style points. Like you get so many points for how you catch and out. There's like every other inning, there's like a dance break, or like the All American Rejects did an impromptu like mini concert.
Mhm.
At some points, they'll stop the game, and then the entire both teams get together and do a dance break. So it's extremely fun, man. Like I haven't been to a game. Someone told me about it a few years ago, and I'm waiting for them to come through to San Antonio. So the guy that did it owns every team, and what he did was he actually expanded it, and he actually brought back the I think it's the Cleveland Monarchs. I want to say the Monarchs. Which was actually a Negro League team that was there.
Mhm.
Like the teams that had Satchel Paige and all those guys back in the Negro
Yeah.
Leagues, he brought the name back. And they basically were supposed to be kind of like the generals to the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yep. Man,
So he
that's a name I haven't heard of in a long time. Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
So yeah. So I mean, honestly, I'd watch that because I think Banana Ball is still maybe in the 9 innings, but there's something happening at every point. Winds up being a lot of fun, and I think if I do go there, or if I go another minor league game, I'll probably do the triple nine challenge. I'm not sure if you've heard that.
Oh, so what about you? Because you're married, you said, right? You have a
Mhm.
wife. Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you end up meeting her?
So we actually met when I was living in Philly. She moved there for work because her headquarters is in Philly. And so what happened was is they sent her. She was in Ohio, and they said, "Hey, our headquarters is in Philly. Why don't you come here?" So she said, "Okay." So she had been there only 6 weeks. 6 weeks when we met. So we went out on a Sunday. We went to a dinner on Sunday. Went to a what is it? Sunday, Monday. We went salsa dancing at one of the centers that was in the Philly. Then we went to a silent disco on Wednesday, and that was it. Like Like that was it. Like I pretty much deleted the app that Saturday.
So, and you're older than her, right?
Yeah, she's older than me, though.
She's older than you. Okay,
Mhm.
so she's what? How old are you guys now?
I'm 39. I'll be 39 this year. She's like 41, 42, I think.
Okay, so you went
So
MILF
yeah,
hunting. Okay, I get you.
yeah. I was like, you know what? I could do this. She can read and write.
You know
She
what's
might, and
crazy?
it's yeah.
I think it's all just picking your poison. Like if you go with the younger girl, they usually are just these depraved daddy issued people. But then older women have a bunch of baggage from like maybe being ran through and maybe have like 3 kids. It's like at the end of the day, you just gotta just pick your poison. Women are just
So I mean,
insane no matter what.
I I told her like the thing is she let me know it's like, hey, I've been married before, divorced, and I was like, oh, okay, and I was like, all right, so how long are you married? She's like, hey, 6 years, didn't work. Okay, cool. Like she didn't have any kids. Like, hey, you the game that I I always ask is when I was dating was why are you single? And for her it was like, hey, we got married early, divorced, and after that just worked and bounced around from city to city. All right, cool. The thing for me was the fact that she told me she was in food services because we met on Bumble. And when she said food services, I thought she was a lunch lady. And I still didn't care. I'm like, all right, cool, she's hot. She basically was like, and the thing is, it was all in her profile. Her profile was like, hey, I'm from Texas. This Texas girl is living in Philly now. Let's go hang out, play pool, grab a beer. I'm a power lifter. That was it. I said, sign me up immediately. And so, we went, like I said, we went on 3 dates and that was it. I never spent another day without her at that point. We both, like I said, she lived in South Philly, so she was either always at my place or I was always at her place. So we met in December. She moved into my place in the September after that, and that was it.
What year was that?
So we met in 2018 towards the end of the year.
Oh, you meant 2018. Okay, so you'll have
Yeah,
been married for like what, maybe 3, 4 years at this point? 4?
4 years. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome. So you've been married since
yeah.
2018. You guys
No,
doing some awesome
2021. 2021. We met in
2021.
2018. Yeah,
Oh,
so we met in
oh,
2018. Got engaged like 2 weeks into COVID. We got engaged, and yeah, it was.
did you not think you were moving too fast? You had this like epiphany like I maybe have been moving too fast. No.
Nope. No, like I was like me, my buddy Justin and I, we would talk about these things, and one thing that we both figured out because he got married uh, two years after I did, and the thing we both noticed is when you're with someone that's right, it moves pretty fast. And it was just like so the thing is I deleted the app on Saturday,
Hmm.
and on Sunday she told all her girlfriends that she was like, I have a boyfriend now, and that was it. I was like, anything like I said, hey, are you seeing anybody else? She's like, no. Are you seeing anybody else? I was like, no, I deleted the app. Like that was it. So I mean, and for the most part, it helps that we talk a lot and check in a lot.
Hmm.
So even before when we were still seeing each other, when we were seeing each other as boyfriend girlfriend, it was more like a lot of things lined up. So dating in the East Coast was very hard, just because it's a different attitude in general. Like
Hmm.
I'm not as the rougher guy that you would think in Philly. So women that were in Philly weren't working. Most of the women that I dated were either from DC or New York.
Well,
And
it's
even
crazy.
then,
Most
go ahead.
girls aren't even fucking dating for like marriage anyway. They're dating and trying to see who's gonna be the biggest bidder in their 30 guy rotation that they're having.
I will say this. I do not blame them for trying to do that. I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. That was the one thing that was hard for me to understand at first was because if you do have your suitors, that's fine. But at some point you have to make a decision. And so it took me a while to get over the fact that I had to be okay and thankful for a woman telling me no. Because I've seen what happens if they can string you along, and it's terrible. Because I was that guy. I was a guy that was like, these bitches ain't shit. Fuck these hoes. And part of it was mad was because like, hey, I'm not getting this. She's giving me the signal that this isn't working, or she doesn't like you, or she wants to put you up as a friend. I'm like, no, but I can make it work out. My buddy Justin I said and was like, yo, man, don't do that. Because if you do that, you're gonna be on the hook and on the string and you're wasting all your time. So instead of putting it in women that don't like you or that are going to keep you in the friend zone, let's work out first. Let's get you into better fitting clothes.
Mhm.
Let's learn about principles of how things work in general when it comes to uh, social hierarchies, when it comes to the people you interact with.
Mhm.
And now that you have all those things, let's start going out and smiling at every woman you see, and the woman that smiles back, go talk to her. And so it took a lot of, um, I guess, training to get to that point. I would say it took me from maybe 2012 to 2016 to understand half of that. And then even then, I thought, hey, I'm a doctor, you know, these hoes is gonna be all on me, man. And the thing was like, no, it's no, no. It's like, hey, you know, having your clothes fitting right is one thing. Having a rap game is another. Having the title of being a doctor is one thing, but all that does is get you in the door. You still got to interact with people that may say, hey, when it comes down to it, you've got one eye and you don't hear so well. And so that can be something that turns a woman off. And I have to be okay with that.
Mhm.
So when you learn certain things like that, you're like, okay, well, she said no, but I'm thinking her because I don't have to worry about her anymore. I can go talk to somebody else. And so, once I met my wife, I actually had a cane at one point because of the cobblestone streets in South Philly and my depth perception. I would trip on the cobblestones.
Oh,
So
okay.
I bought a cane to make not a red and white strike the ground cane, but like an
Yeah.
actual like pimp cane, the more or less. So I could at least feel at least where the ground was when I put it down. So if it dipped, I knew that okay, I have to either step this way or kind of angle my foot so I don't trip. So she saw me pull out the cane. She saw the eye and the hearing aids, and she was okay with it. I was like, cool. Now, when I saw my wife, like my wife, because she lifts and everything like that, wider shoulders as wide as mine are. So
Yeah.
I'm like, ah, shit, her voice is gonna be deeper than mine. Fuck. And then she had these highest, prettiest, cutest voice, and I'm like, okay, we're good. But but yeah, and all the talking that we did, and just saying it, hey, we're our values both align. We're both from the South. We were both, and honestly, we were both making the same amount of money too, so that helped. So there wasn't any imbalance. What changed was maybe 7 or 8 months in, she applied for a position at her job, and it wound up like doubling her salary, pretty much overnight, which is awesome.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And so the job I had, I just started, and maybe a year into that, COVID hit. And what changed for me was the fact that I was actually I traveled for my job to nursing homes, and
Mhm.
so I heard about it, and they're just like, "Hey, we're a mask. Everybody's sick. We don't know what it is." So maybe 2 weeks after that, they shut all the nursing homes down. I actually got laid off from my job,
Mhm.
and so again, this is the second job I've ever had out of school, and so I'm putting a lot of stock in this. So like, I thought I'd be doing this for a while, and now I don't have it anymore. My wife was like, "Hey, honey, don't worry about everything. I'll pay for everything." Like she paid for everything. I didn't work for 10 months. Not that I didn't have to, but it's like it was hard to get a job during COVID in health at that point. And for 10 months, like she paid for everything. So any unemployment that I got, like I wound up, either pitching in what I could towards bills or saving for our wedding. So I mean, for that entire year, like she paid for everything, and I am just now at this point around the same as what she makes. So I mean, honestly, she had me at that point on. I've been like Ti, you can have whatever you like,
Hmm.
and so I think that's really the key thing is to figure out like where you guys match up on and having discussions and figuring out if you guys are on the same wavelength with a lot of important things y'all deem important.
Also, I think it's very important if women just let guys be guys too, because like you hear the way women talk about their spouses, and it feels like they actually resent their partner being who they are. And it's like I could not even picture in my head how people don't understand how that won't work out. Like these things kind of just build up over time. That's why when people just snap and how kids call it these days crashing out. I can
Mhm.
understand why people would end up crashing out over a long period of time of just hating someone that they just don't like anything about, and it's just a gradual thing. So that's why I understand now that people don't get married a lot, is because like what you said your wife had said, like you wasted essentially 6 years of someone and nothing happened. It's like, god damn, that's it's quite a bit of time just waste on someone and nothing happens, honestly, and
Yeah,
then you gotta get the thing of like divorce, where if you divorce a lady, she might take all your fucking money and shit. It's like, there should be more of a tactical approach to marrying someone than just being like, well, let's just kind of just get this done in like 2 weeks. Probably not a good idea.
I would say two things that I understood is that the first thing is marriage matters to those that want to be married.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
a lot of time that you see all these people that are doing these roundtable discussions or they're out talking to a crowd of people, they don't want to be married. And so most of what they say justifies not being married. The but generally speaking, most men do want to be married. It's just figuring out the right person to marry. And not necessarily marry, it's just to have the children's part. It's like, hey, the best decision you can do is find the right woman to have children with. The worst decision you can make is finding the wrong woman to have children with. Otherwise, you can separate, divorce. I mean, hey, she can take half your stuff, but I mean, half the time or primary custody with the kids is a killer. The second thing that I had to understand was that marriage is a lot like running a McDonald's. Let's say McDonald's, right? So your wife is the store or McDonald's in this. You are an employee. You show her your resume. This is who I am. This is all my documented information. If you wanted to look me up, whether I'm LinkedIn or if I'm on YouTube, here's who I am when it comes to relationships. I am loyal, dependable, all these other things, right?
Yeah.
That might include how much you make, because that is important. And so it's up to the person that's in the store to say, hey, you're hired for the role of boyfriend. Cool. So I'm hired as boyfriend. I am getting paid in sexual favors, companionship, to share a good time and a good meal. I provide, uh, support, a hug, things like that. The second thing is once you get married, you're in management.
Mhm.
You're salaried at this point, which means either if it's at 9 a.m., 9 p.m., 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, if you get a call that something has to happen, you got to do something, you got to do it. You're management now. Once you have children, you are vested and you've got stock options. And so that's the easiest. Like I said, I would. Justin Ice told me this years ago, and I think that if more people understand it from that perspective, it makes more sense. You don't. You're not necessarily in love with your spouse every day, but you do love them and you choose to be with that person every day. I mean, I don't think, and I think the thing is that because me and my wife are roughly the same cohort, we know that
Mhm.
most of the things you see online isn't real. And we're just like, I mean, you might see something go viral, but I mean, that might be people that trying to reinforce something that they see, or they might just think it's funny and it winds up gaining a virality. But for the most part, we both understand, like, hey,
It says,
we still more
see,
like
I see
circles of
marriage more like circles of hell, and if I survive all of them, I rule hell. Then again, oh
yikes.
goodness gracious, Orange, he's just insane, actually.
Okay, gotcha.
But
Okay,
but
but yeah, that's what I thought about
and that's the thing is true. Like social media, has definitely opened up a lot of people's eyes to certain things going on. And what's even crazier is that we actually have, like, I think, like a bunch of elections going on right now for the midterms, with a
it. Mhm.
bunch of the whole mayors, and yeah, this is the
Yeah,
mayor
yeah.
electoral thing going on right now. And good lord, looks like the Republicans did not do a good job of keeping up their momentum when Donald Trump won earlier last year, actually, because been a lot of infighting with a lot of people, and everyone's just doing these like really cringy purity tests. And
Yeah.
oh god, man, that's just how politics go. It always will swing back, guys. Don't worry, that's what they say is gonna happen. But will it ever happen? Who knows? Honestly, people don't even entertain the idea that it just doesn't swing back for a very long time. People think, oh, a pendulum always swings back. You got a time frame for that? No, it eventually will. Also, just blind hope that it will swing back. Okay, so we're just talking out our ass. Apparently, that's what people do.
I think that certain sides aren't used to winning, and it can show.
Mhm.
So I think that a lot with the conservative movement now, it was a lot of people that felt disenfranchised and weren't
Mhm.
used to winning. It's not that they win, they don't know what to do, but they're used to the fighting. And what happens is when you're on high alert all the time and ready for a fight and you're not used to winning, anything can set off you wanting to fight someone else. So I think that's why you see a lot of the infighting now is just because, this is supposed to be the time to regroup and strategize. Because if you play it right, you could technically have, I mean, if it really matters to you, you could really have a conservative president up until the 2032, 2036 if you played it right. But I'm not sure if, based on the last few months, that you're going to even win 2028 at this point. But I mean, I don't necessarily care much about who's president so much as who's the governor of where you live, your
Yeah,
state,
that
because
pretty much
that's
impacts your life way more. Like
yeah.
Gavin Newsom being our governor, I'm still under the impression that he's rigged all those elections to win because there's just no way. I genuinely believe that people actually like that guy. There's no way, unless you literally hate your other opposition so much that you only see him as a good person, which would be insane, honestly.
I would say that if you didn't think that Larry Elder had a chance, then probably no one was going to beat Gavin Newsom. I don't think anyone's going to, which is why I think is it's going to make it easier for him to run in 2028. Unless someone comes out of nowhere at
Mhm.
this point, I see him as the front runner that's got name recognition. I mean, he's Nancy Pelosi's nephew, so I
Mhm.
mean, he's going to have connections.
Oh, also, the person that might win Virginia was the guy who was on CNN who said he's like I think there was like text messages that leaked or whatever, or he had a public spat with someone on Twitter. It was one of the two. He said he'd be fine with Republican families' children dying. Like he would enjoy
Oh yeah,
watching them die.
no,
It's like
oh that
and
yeah,
willing like I just I don't know why people would go like, damn, sure enough, that's good enough to be someone who actually can lead my state. It's like what?
uh, again, it's I think it's a lot of people that are not used to winning, or they really do hate the opposition that much. And
Mhm.
so for me, it's like, I mean, if that's what you think, that's fine. It's just, you know, you you wind up having the president you have as an indication of how the nation's going to be run. So
Mhm.
technically, we have a businessman running the United States because it's how he runs it. He runs like a business. With Obama, it was more like you got a lot of laws and legislator because he's an attorney. So I don't
Yeah.
know what we're going to get, but I think that at a certain point, things will kind of rubber band in the direction. And it's just, again, I'm pretty sure the first year of Biden's term was just as tumultuous and there was just as much infighting.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, it winds up cooling down the people that were
See, I agree with this. We got to settle it
there.
all with a Dragon Ball Z fighter style battle. Actually, each election will last 4 hours, spread over 6 weeks. Oh Lord, yep.
I'm
And
okay with that.
this is the part of your life where you figure out who really wants to, be your acquaintance and friend, and who, if they see you post about who you voted for, then they go like, "How dare you, you Nazi, bigot, racist, incel, misogynistic, homophobic weirdo?" It's like, all right, bro, cool story. Goodbye. Then again, I always lived by this in life too, because someone told me this many years ago. Was if you have to walk on eggshells around certain people, chances are that if you feel that way, they're probably not your friends. So it's kind of good when those people actually expose
It's
themselves anyway. Honestly.
it's a lot. Yeah. I mean, for me, it doesn't really matter who you did or didn't vote. I mean, that was the weird thing is I had a few women that when I went on dates asked.
Mhm.
And it was the one time I could say I didn't vote because I was trying to find a job. So basically, by the time I started working, like they'd already had election day. So for me, I was like, oh, okay, it doesn't matter to me. And even then, it doesn't matter. It's because it's like, well, hey, do you know who your state congressman is? Who's your senator? Who's your senator, or who's your governor? Who's your mayor? Because that's, again, if anyone's going to wind up seeing the police after specifically you, it's going to be either the mayor or the governor. You know, because the president would do it. It's like, well, hey, that winds up being a state issue versus a federal issue. So I I just think that politics became the new sport,
Yeah. Hmm.
and you want your team to win. But just as seeing things go from from 2016 to 2025, it's just like everybody's crazy, and you just want to be able to live in an area that would fit the lifestyle that you want to live, and where you can actually afford to live. Like that's the main thing. And like, hey, whatever policies they got coming up that you support, go out and support them. Honestly, it shouldn't really matter who's president if you've got states' rights. I mean, I'm go more libertarian when it comes
Hmm.
to government anyway. And so for me, it's like president really shouldn't matter. It has greater sway when it comes to your governor because 40% of governors wind up becoming presidents anyway. So you'd
Hmm.
want to have a strong indication of who you want your governor to be because they've got the most direct influence on your life where you live.
Oh God, to this guy Neon was streaming on Twitch,
Mhm.
and he was with this girl named Camilla, who's friends with who's like this stupid bot bitch who was apparently gonna go to do a nursing career, but obviously she dropped out of doing that to be an OnlyFans whore,
Oh
and
yeah, I know
then
that. Yeah.
yeah, and then what she did was that she was with Neon at this like arcade thing, and then two like just white kids look like they're like 7, 8, 5 years old with his little brother. They're like, "Hey, you're Camilla. I know you from OnlyFans." First, whoa, hold up, wait a minute. And then she's like, "How do you know me from OnlyFans?" Oh, you're on a good lord. Women are so stupid. You're on a public platform making Instagram reels, Facebook reels, and you're on Twitter. And I'm pretty sure she does YouTube. Yeah, this is what happens. I can't wait for her to be like, "Oh, it's not my fault, it's the parents' fault." Yeah, because it's always someone else's fault for your actions. I hate people at this point, man. It's always someone else's fault. It's never actually your fault. It's someone else's fault all the time.
I I would say an 8-year-old should not know who you are. I will say I do
Yeah,
agree an 8-year-old should not know who you are. Now, if you told me this because his older brother, who's like 16 or 17, found it, all right, sure, that's fine. But I mean, like, how did you specifically find it? That's because 8-year-olds shouldn't know. I mean,
yeah,
16, 17, I
yeah.
I get it, but I mean, like,
Like 16, 17 teenagers,
8 is
that's they kind of sniff around to get that shit. Here, I'll show you guys right now. These were the kids. This is what they look like. These look. One of them looks like he's literally almost 5. The other one looks like he's almost 9 or 10. Put right here. There you go. Yeah, those are some pretty young kids there. So if they know you're on OnlyFans, I don't even know, getting destroyed.
yeah, I
Oh my
I
god! And and like I saw her on an Instagram reel. She was like, yeah, I believe in God." Yeah, God's really you really she's only saying "Oh Jesus, oh God" when she's taking DP. She's just getting
oh
dick
god.
down. That's the only time she's saying "Oh God." We know that.
Which I will say the thing about OnlyFans that actually sucks is that
Mhm,
it's not just for like the hoes. It's
mhm.
actually they actually have like they do comedy shows. There's like a
Yeah.
racing team. There's a whole thing. It sucks the fact that like I'm pretty sure a large portion of their money that's coming in it's from pornography. So you're just like
Mhm,
it does suck because it's like I forget there are people like I forget who actually winds up doing things like she puts like math on Pornhub,
mhm.
literally just math, and she's like, "Yo, the payout." I swear to God, like she'll do like equations and stuff like that, and she gets like, I get paid twice what I do on YouTube with the same. I literally upload the same thing to the hub and a YouTube, and the payout from the hub is twice. So I mean, I I I I don't necessarily regret. So I'm not going to be mad at someone that chooses to do OnlyFans because if it's a market and someone will pay for it, that's okay. That's free market. That's fine.
Mhm.
It's just understand that that choice is going to have a trade off. People are going to know who you are, but they're going to specifically know everything about you at that point. So you'd have to be okay with that.
Yeah,
You can't do the whole Lana Rhodes where after your baby now you don't want it to be available to you. It's too
it's a
late. It's
two
already
for
out
free. Yeah,
there.
if you want the quick money, Bill's got. I always say this. People don't understand. Bill's got to get paid. I will say that. And
Hmm,
living living in this kind of, let's say, generation or this kind of time period that we all live in, things cost a lot of money. So
they do.
I don't agree with it, but I can understand when someone's not
Mhm.
making enough money at one job and they go, you know what, this is the easiest way for me to make sure that I'm able to take care of myself. But
Yeah.
we have to also look at it from the fact that, hey, that's going to have some really bad consequences later on. And when like certain guys say like, well, it doesn't matter. It's like you're part of the problem. This is the problem here. You know, it's people not realizing, hey, you can get quick money, but there's gonna be consequences to your actions. Like if you were a former, let's just say hypothetically, you were a former drug dealer and you made a lot of money because bills were piling up and you just went insane because your other job wasn't giving enough money. But then years later on, you stopped being a drug dealer. But then the people that you sold drugs to got hooked on drugs for life and they like ruined their families and they were just on the streets. Well,
Mhm.
yeah, you yourself could be like, I'm done. I turned my life around. That doesn't change who you impacted. That didn't change their life around too,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And
Oh, it's really fair.
that's the problem with life now. It's like people are like, well, these women are just only doing it because they have nothing else they could do. That's just such bullshit.
I
Other
just like,
women don't
yo,
do that.
this
Your wife doesn't do that. I know plenty of dudes
no,
wives we've I know people I've talked to as well. They don't do that. That's
no.
not the only thing you can do. That's just bullshit. They just want to get fucked by dudes. That's pretty
I
much
was
what
like,
it
you can,
was.
and the thing is, you can sell feet pics. That's you can be on all the you can do the Fet Finder, all that Foot Finder,
Mhm,
all that stuff. Honestly, you don't have to show them more than an ankle
mhm,
now, especially if you got a high art. I'm serious. Like it's they'll pay for that. Like they're UFC fighters. I forget what her name was, but she did feet pics. Like all she did was like she would step her foot in paint, like step on a piece of paper, autograph it, and then ship it off for like $30. And the thing is, like, there are a lot of other ways you can get money that don't involve being naked. Like again, you can show the ankle to the sole of the feet. People do take feet pics. You can paint your feet.
oh
One lady
god.
made like 6 figures farting in jars and sending her farts. Like
Yep.
that's
Good
there are
lord.
a lot of weird ways to make money for dudes that have fetishes that they can't tell your girl about. So, I mean, you don't, there's, OnlyFans seems like the easiest, simplest thing to do, but like 90% of the people that are on that don't make any money, not real money. So you're like, well, hey, you can look at alternatives so you don't have to show your face, keep, the job that you do have. Like there are other ways to do it. It's just understand the trade off of going all in, pause, OF.
Oh, good gosh, man. I wasn't paying attention, and then the first thing I hear is, "I'll pay for feet pics." I will just say this: dudes are pretty. This the problem is dudes becoming so desperate that when women know that's an easy pipeline to make money. If guys literally weren't just desperate pieces of shit, then that would
Mhm.
not there'd be no market for that. But I criticize dudes a lot here too. Dudes are literally so desperate and stupid that they pay for that shit. And some of these
Mhm.
girls, dude, I think one of the famous ones, I'm pretty sure you heard her name, Sophie Rain. She doesn't
Yeah.
even really get, she doesn't even get naked. She doesn't even take her clothes off. She wears like, you could say skimpy outfits, like crop tops and
Mhm.
shorts that come up to her ass, but she doesn't even really get naked. And she's the highest earner. A girl who the highest earner doesn't even really get naked like that. She makes
Yeah.
like, I think it said 17 million a month. That's insane. Or she like
Yeah.
8 good lord. So I think I may have froze up there a second ago. My
Okay.
internet's been doing that randomly, even though I have a new computer, or maybe it's because I'm watching too much porn. Who knows, honestly. You know.
No, I will say that again, dudes are.
I
I
never
was
said that.
I'll say this. So again, me and Justin and I were talking, and he there is like a bell curve, right? Like 30% of guys are never going to have a girlfriend, never get married, never have children. 50% to 60% of guys like, hey, there's a chance I'm gonna find someone, get married. Like I'm in the regular bracket. There's 20% of guys, maybe 10 to 15, maybe 20% max are like never getting married, never having to marry, don't want to get married at all, but I can have
Right.
almost any woman I want. The 30% are driving a lot of traffic to the fans. So they can actually, whatchamacallit, pay all the money they want to see something that they're probably never gonna see in their lifetime.
Mhm.
The guys that are half in, half out might like, look at a picture, like, or see something on Twitter about it, see a leak, and like, oh, okay. But I like seen one, seen them all. The other 20% aren't even looking at it because women are coming up to them at that point. So I just think it's a lot of guys that are very lonely that are probably never going to have those kind of interactions with women outside of paying for it. in any capacity.
Good lord. And
So
then when they pay for it, they're gonna be like, "Man, I lasted 5 seconds," and then realize that sex is overrated. You know,
I don't know. It'll be the best 5 seconds for them though, man. If
I'll
you're
be
never
honest,
gonna
man.
get it,
It's one of those things where you kind of want it because you don't have it, and then when you get it, you're gonna be like, "Ah, well, this is all right." I
I
guarantee
I
it's gonna be their reaction too, man.
I I don't know, man, because I I was I'd heard about the Bunny Ranch, and you know the Bunny Ranches, right?
Yeah, brothels and
Yes.
stuff like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, even compared to whatever sex you've had, if you went to the Bunny Ranch and like you had a menu,
Just like a McDonald's, like you said earlier. Yeah, be like a
if
McDonald's.
you
Hey,
go in there on a menu, and if you have a menu, if you get a menu, you
yeah,
would put like Chris Tucker in
rush hour
Rush Hour
too.
2.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
oh
yeah,
yeah, her. Oh, I'm gonna
yeah.
get her. I'm gonna get that.
Yeah,
And
it
the
was the
thing
same
is
way.
like,
The same thing that happened when I went to the strip club in Vegas for that F and T, when we had like the whole F and T meetup. We were hanging out
mhm,
before the meetup the day before. Went to a strip club. I typically I already get enough women sometimes in my life, but when you have a buffet of them right there, willing to sit on your lap and talk
mhm.
to you, and they're sitting directly on your crotch, and then they made me do it. Like obviously, the girl made me put my hands on around
They
her.
made you. Okay,
Right,
got
right.
it.
Yeah, she
Yeah, they
like
made you do
she
it.
liked sitting on my. I have 9 inches, so she definitely liked it a lot. And she was like whispering sweet nothings in my ear. It was definitely my fault, But they tricked me.
Mhm.
I was tricked by them, dude. God, they were just all in front of me naked. Crazy.
Yeah, see, and but you're just talking. Did you wind up paying just for talking to them?
Shit, I think I paid for one lap dance. It was all right, you
Oh,
know.
oh, I will say you got lucky because my buddy did that in Atlanta. He had a girlfriend and she talked to him for like 2 songs and like she wanted like $80 because like me talking to you is my time. So
What
I
the hell,
mean,
really?
yeah, yeah, $80. He's like, she
80
was great.
bucks.
She's $80 man, for two because they talked for 2 songs. And the thing is like he's like, I'm just talking to her. It's like she's talking to me. Like I have a girlfriend. I don't even want to. It's like I didn't need a lap dance. We are just talking, and like 2 songs, like yo, $80. So I mean, for a guy that's never going to have any outside of paying for it, what you pay for and what you get, and there's a menu would be enough. And I think that even for me, it's like I considered going to the Bunny Ranch before I met my wife. Like I was like, yo, I'm gonna save however much it costs to go out there, do whatever's on the menu, come back. And I'm like, okay. I mean, it's not so much that you might overrate it. It's like, well, okay, well, I can actually do the thing. So now it's not such a like a I have to, I'm going insane because I didn't get it. You know, I although I it, although I'm pretty sure it could probably mess you up though, because you'd be used to that kind
Mhm.
of
DK,
interaction and not, yeah, it can make it so that you think it's transactional.
DK, what's up, man? Oh, also, you have a YouTube channel. So, what
Yeah,
made you want to create a YouTube channel? Because I know you're a fan of wrestling. Was that the reason why you created it?
dude, no. So, do you know Abomination AJ?
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually, so we live like in San Antonio.
Oh, okay.
So basically, what happened was my wife had met him first because we were looking for someone to watch our dogs when we were at work,
Yeah, because
and
he does
so
the dog thing. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and so that's how we met. And so at first, you're just, I wore like I wore a green, I had a Green Lantern wedding ring, and he noticed it. We started talking about it, but it's more like that scene in Pirates of the Caribbean where Will Turner is facing off with Jack Sparrow, and he's like, "Now if I do this, so hey, what do you think about the new Disney movie?" And I'd be like, "Well, I mean, it's not that great. I don't know why they would change the race swaps." And so we got to talking, and basically he got me to come on to his channel, and that's we did Heroes No Capes for about maybe I think it was like a year and a half.
Hmm.
And so he brought me on, and we talked about all the topics, and it was usually on Saturday mornings. And so after that, we went in different directions. He still wanted doing his channel, and so for me, it was like, well, hey, I have still things that I want to talk about, and so that's at that point where I created my channel, which would have been maybe, man, October was before we moved, so maybe September of 21, September
Hmm.
October 2021. And so I'd made videos, and at first it was a typical react to whatever trash or woke movie premieres coming out. So I did 2 reviews of Black Panther 2 based on the trailers that were out, and I did the Will Smith apology. And I'm like, I don't like doing this. I don't like covering things that are awful just to say that they're awful. Like it's a waste of time, and I actually have
Yeah.
more things I want to talk about. So it wound up expanding into things talking about different types of political parties there are. One of my favorite videos that I made was about where is he? This guy right here, Gaston. I actually made a video, and because I actually believe this is that every character in Beauty and the Beast is trash except for Gaston, and I made a whole video about it. You know, it's probably one of my most viewed videos, and so I had a lot of people that were upset at me, but it was actually pretty funny.
Yeah,
But
because
I
Beauty and the
said
Beast is considered like the at least top 5 of those Disney animated classic movies.
it is, and it's my second favorite Disney movie of all time behind Little Mermaid. But I told people, I said, if you think about it, like let's take.
I think The Lion King and Mulan and Little Mermaid, like you said, I think they have stronger characters than Beauty and the Beast. Like Beauty and the Beast,
Mhm.
Gustavo, like you said. Then you have, like, I think Bella is not as a
No,
good leading character like the other
she's
girls
not.
are. Yeah,
Like I told, like, everyone got mad at me because I said, Belle isn't an actual character at all. She's more like a
I
I
think she's
forget
a
how I phrased it.
caricature of what women of what some people think women are. Like that's how most of these characters turn out. Like Cinderella, there's a little bit of like, I think tropiness in that, but there are women that long to get kind of picked up by a guy. I think that's still a thing still to this day, like
Well,
women that
I,
want a Prince Charming to save them kind of thing.
well, I said that the issue is your Prince Charming technically was Gaston. And I said, like, if you listen to there's something that wasn't there before,
Hmm.
and you place Gaston's interaction with her over that song, it makes the same sense it does that Beauty and the
Oh
Beast
yeah.
does. So I said, first of all, the witch that transformed him is trash because he was 11 years old, and you're not supposed to let strangers in your house. I said Lumiere, Cogsworth, and Mrs. Potts were trash because you left the door open,
Hmm.
which means you've done this before. Like if you look, there's a dungeon, and like there I would say people in there. And when the closet lady opens up the clothes, there are clothes in there, which means you've done this before.
Hmm.
On top of the fact that I had so many points that were on there, but the main point was that Gaston made the most sense because in his song, there's something that was not something that was there. The little town. He said he wants to woo and marry Belle,
Hmm.
and he's like, I'm not gonna just smash and dash. He's like, I have a high opinion of myself. That's why I said there's no one else in this town who's as beautiful as she, as beautiful as me. He's like, so I have a high opinion of myself. I'm the hunter. I'm the strongest person here. Everyone loves me, so I'm good in the town. I could be in any type of leadership role. And the person that looks as good as I do, I want her to be married. I want to marry her. And if I have 6, 7 kids, like, yo, Belle, you can read to them kids. You don't have to work because I'm gonna hunt. And while he's rough around the edges, like when the town said it's time to pull up on the beast, he's like, yo, let's go kill the beast. So I said, if you look at it from that perspective, Gaston's the only hero of this movie. Plus, he turned down triplets. There's no way I'd be able to do that ever.
Hmm.
Not triplets, no. So
Because my favorite movies out of those are it's Mulan and then Lion King. Those are my two favorites right there. Those
mhm,
and then good lord, I don't. I remember while watching Aladdin. I remember watching the first one, but I have to give it a rewatch. So I usually had it in high regards, but I don't know if these would hold up the same way they did when I watched when I was younger. I don't know,
I
honestly.
mean, you would be surprised. I would
I'm more just
say
a sucker for Cinderella because I'm just a fucking guy like that. I was like, oh, this is kind of cute. Yeah, Cinderella's
it
a
is.
cute
I mean,
one.
so I mean, I will say that there are certain movies you can watch as a child and as an adult, and you wind up flipping who you think is right. So you watching Little Mermaid when you're younger, you're like I was homeschooled, so I understood why Ariel wanted to leave and just be
Yeah,
out
yeah.
amongst regular people. But as an
Mhm.
adult, I'm like, when she said, "Daddy, I love him," I'm like, "You don't know him." I think as I'm watching it, and I said it when Triton said, I was like, "Dang, no, I understand Triton. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it." And the thing is,
But it's
Triton.
not even the fact that the movie even sours itself on the rewatch. Is like now you get it from both perspectives. But when you're younger, from like I guess when you would picture ourselves as being like the girls in their spots, we're guys. You understand it from that perspective, from an adolescent point of view. But then when you grow up,
Mhm.
you're like, okay, now I understand it from a adult point of view. That's why those movies are held as some of the best animated classics they did, even though those movies are nothing like the original source material. And I was actually thinking about it earlier today, which is like that is how you transform material that is not what it originally was versus something that other people who
Yeah.
don't know what it is can actually enjoy it. Not this
Mhm.
new way they're doing it now. It's like, well, we're only changing it because you were white, and we actually don't like white people, and that's the reason why we're changing it. Yeah, that's
I
not the
just
same. That's not the same at all, actually.
it is, and I can I can understand where you might want to do that. The only problem is when it's already there. So
Yeah.
they wanted. I know that they redid the Little Mermaid, but the Princess and the Frog was right there, and like
Princess and the Frog.
that's
What's crazy is remember why they made it? Because people kept saying, "Why is there no black princesses?" Then they made that. I remember the huge marketing campaign they had for it.
Mhm.
They marketed it very well. They're like, "Hey, we have our black princess now, and she's gonna be awesome." Everyone loves fucking hell. Dude, I'm blanking the name right now. Good lord. Everyone loves that movie. A lot. I've not seen. I've heard a person say they disliked it actually, and they
well,
had
the
a
remake.
black the
That one, Princess and the Frog.
Princess of the Frog. Yeah, like what's crazy is that was made because they didn't have a black princess and they just race swapped Ariel, and it's like, what?
So the issue with Princess and the Frog is the fact that she's a frog for most of the movie,
And it's
and
voodoo.
and
It's like I remember it was voodoo based. I don't know if they really want
it
to put
is,
that into the movie.
which you understand. But the fact is she's not a black girl the entire movie. She's a frog.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
at the end, she gets the prince, but the prince winds up working in the restaurant that she owns. So is he really a prince if he still gets disowned and just works with you? So
What about
that I think
Brave? Did you like
hmm,
Brave?
she's what
Did you like Brave? The one it was with the ginger chick.
Bray. I didn't even watch that. I mean, it sounded like it'd be cool if I wanted to watch it. I mean, again, it's weird. Certain Disney movies you can't really watch by yourself anymore. Because like
Mhm.
you're just like, I'm not in the
Yeah.
demographic to watch it. And I don't have kids, so
Mhm. Peter
I
Pan,
did.
I remember I watched that one. That was way because I originally we were reading the book as we were kids, and they showed us Hook first. It's like I do believe in fairies, and when I watched Peter Pan, the animated one, I was like, this is way different, even from the actual book. This is way
Mhm,
different, actually.
yeah.
Mm,
So, and that's why I understand why now that Peter Pan, Steamboat, Mickey, or Steamboat Willie are
yeah.
open domain, that they're actually being turned into horror movies. Because Peter Pan technically is a horror movie
Oh
because
yeah, it is. Yeah,
he's killed kids that wanted to leave. So I have to watch Escape from Neverland at a certain point
dude, I haven't watched
because
Hook in years. Oh
Hook
my
is great.
god.
Hook is the greatest reimagining of a movie ever made. Because
Mm,
technically Hook is what if Peter Pan grew up, and that's
right,
the best
right.
what if movie that was ever made was that.
And it does
I've
show an evil Tinkerbell too, where she wants him basically all for himself, and she
okay.
doesn't. She does. Oh yeah. Oh, what about No, that wasn't Disney, right? Fern Gully wasn't Disney, right?
Fern Gully was
Was that
was
DreamWorks?
Paramount. That Paramount. That hold on. I don't think DreamWorks wasn't out at that point. Hold on. Fern,
Fern Gully's production
92.
company was who's it distribute? I haven't seen Fern Gully in 20 years. Holy shit.
It was
Distribute.
FAI or Courier Films, I think.
Oh, it was distributed by Fox. Yeah, Fox distributed it.
Oh, Fox. Yeah, Fox had a great
Yeah.
run in the '90s between that and Anastasia. That was great.
Mhm.
And Titan AE. Yeah, they had and Treasure Planet. Fox had a great run.
So
Either Fox.
on your YouTube channel, you do this show with your wife,
Mhm.
OG, and you guys
Ordinary
are
Gains. Yeah.
yips, and you guys are closing in on 70 episodes very soon. So what do you have any thoughts on what the 100 episode special is gonna look like?
We don't, dude. So the thing was, is that Ordinary Games was my wife's idea
Oh,
because
okay.
we were both really, really heavy into lifting when we met. Like she was a power lifter. I went to see some of her tournaments,
Yeah.
and I was doing a lot of like cross training, and was like I could deadlift like 400 pounds. I could like,
Mhm.
so we were having the lifting, but we were saying that some of the best games that she said some of the best games you'll make in a relationship are the ones you consider ordinary, like talking things out or,
Mhm.
being able to laugh at a situation after it's already happened or communicating and stuff like that.
Oh
So,
yeah. Mhm.
I don't know what we're gonna do at 100 episodes. I'm not sure at this point. I hopefully it'll be something big.
Just oh god, you gotta do a Bart Simpson's cosplay.
We probably will. I mean,
Wouldn't that be
I
just
told her we gotta
whiteface?
do some cosplay. Huh?
You could have her do blackface, and you go as a
Oh God, no.
Mexican.
Oh no. Oh no. No, no, no. No, that no, 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 like, we're gonna avoid that at all costs. We dress up as Milk and Cookies. So last year,
The
she
ketchup.
yes, huh?
You could be a bottle of ketchup. Have her just be mustard. But then again, mustard is
We could do
disgusting.
that. We did. I mean, like we went simple. We did. I was the chocolate milk that you haven't shaken up yet, and she was a chocolate chip cookie. I did the priest and the nun. That was awesome because she did like
Okay.
all the makeup, which was cool. So we've got a few costumes that we'll probably have to break out for the 100th episode. At that point, who knows? I don't know. Maybe it'll be outside or on location somewhere. We're just like I said, every 2 weeks there's something for us to just talk about what's been going on in our lives, even if it's just the ordinary stuff. But it's a lot of fun doing that with her because she's not as plugged in.
Oh, you have cookies and cream. You could do that.
Barbecue sauce. That's a good barbecue sauce and mayo. That's
God,
actually
mayo is
she
so
might be
gross.
she'll be a spicy mayo though. She'll want
Oh
to be a
Lord,
spicy mayo.
dude, I
Um,
can't get this mayonnaise love that people have. It's so gross. Oh, it's nasty. Fucking hell.
I will say mayonnaise works for certain things. Like I said, if tuna fish, it works. And on a cheeseburger with lettuce and tomato, it'll work. So I'm okay with mayo in those contexts. Other ones, too much. But yeah, like I said, we'll probably plan something out for the 100th episode at that point. Again, she's not as plugged in on like everything that's going on online that I am. So whenever I talked about something that happens online, it winds up being something that she can give an honest perspective of someone that's on the outside looking in. And so half the time I find out that things that you would think are important online in real life are like, nah, who cares?
I know you probably triggered someone when you had a video that was titled Five Reasons Ryan Gosling Should Be the Next
Oh
Black
yeah.
Panther. Oh,
Oh yeah. Okay. So what happened with that was they were doing the How to Train Your Dragon, right?
Mhm.
And so what happened is I forget, I don't even know the characters. I've never even seen the series. All I know is that they chose a black girl to play one of the characters, but it's based on like Viking lore. And so I love like
Astrid. Yeah, the little girl's name is Astrid,
Astrid.
and they
Yeah.
chose a light skin. They chose the light skinned girl who was Joel's daughter, who was Pedro Pascal's Joel in The Last of Us
Hmm.
daughter to be Astrid, and it's like you know what I think, dude? I think they purposefully do it so they can drum up controversy for the
Hmm.
movie. I don't think they
That's
genuinely do it because they actually like that decision, because they know that is what it's going to get people to engage with them on social media.
right. So I mean, the issue I had with it was when I saw it, I said, I said, what happened was on Twitter, all I said was, okay, this is how you get Ryan Gosling as Black Panther. And everyone got upset when I said that. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Here's 5 reasons why Ryan Gosling should be the next Black Panther. And I was like, hey, the main point I was making is that if you think it's okay to make a Viking black, that if the king of Wakanda is white, you really can't be upset about that. And people really did get upset when I said all that. But I said the main point is if you change fundamentally the race of a character, you considerably alter that character. They aren't that same character anymore.
Well, they alter the perception and the image, because what a lot of people don't understand with their argument, it's like those retarded progressive liberals and leftists on Twitter, where they'll say something and then they'll do the thing they're criticizing the other side of while not realizing that they're doing it. So when people use this argument of like MSK, it doesn't matter what the character looks like, the actor or actress, if they're the best for the job and the best for the role, they should get it. And then I was always pose these two things. First of all, why can't we have someone that looks like the character and you can have someone that portrays the character in a good manner? It feels like these
Mhm.
people will only function in like one way of criticism. That like doesn't make any sense. Like, why can't you have both? Why do you have to live only in this world where you only have one? So that's always usually number one for me. The second one is whenever it comes up with Black Panther and like let's say Static Shock, I've noticed that that argument doesn't work for them. Like, okay, so let's just say I suggest that when Captain America comes back to the MCU, Captain America should be portrayed by Will Smith. But people's like, no, you can't. No, they'll say that's fine. Okay, so can Precious play Black Panther? They'll be like, no. We're like, why? You said the best actor or actress gets the job. See how
Mhm.
that logic doesn't work? Or say, let's do someone white, right? Let's say I selected Austin Butler to play Black Panther. They'll be like, no, him being black is intrinsic to his character. Then I say, why does that logic not apply to the other characters, though? Mic
Right.
drop. They're always like, but it's never stated that they have to be. You just said Black Panther has to be black. So why doesn't that same logic apply to all the other characters, though? That's why I always said, if you can't, this line of logic can't work.
Mhm.
If you're gonna change all the characters, then you do it for all of them, or you change none
Mhm.
of them. It can't be like you cherry pick. Okay, this one doesn't get it for these reasons, but this one can't have it for these reasons. The rules should apply all the same, right? They should apply. And then Marvel didn't give a fuck. Marvel made a white Black Panther in one of their new comic book
Yes.
series they're doing.
Yes.
So even
Yeah.
Marvel, I will give them credit for this. They were consistent. If you can have a white Black Panther, fuck it. That's always been my logic. If
Mhm.
you're gonna do it, all of it applies, or none of it applies. That's
Yeah.
not fair. That people's stupid arguments go, well, you can't do it for these reasons for this character, but you can justify it for these characters. Like, that's just
That's not
retarded.
doesn't work. That
Yeah,
doesn't work.
that's
Yeah.
literally quite by definition. That's straight up contradiction. It's like
Mhm. So yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
No,
And
but
that's
these people don't
that's
care about being hypocrites. They
they
just
don't.
want to have. They just want a virtue signal for his social clout on Twitter. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, look at me. I'm fine with Black Panther because I'm not a racist. Like, dude, I would never think you're a racist because I'm not a crazy retard purity tester like you are. I like
Yeah.
people are so insane that it's crazy. Like a series based off Viking lore. Yeah, probably won't have a lot
Mhm.
of black people just by the sheer virtue of what the lore is based on. But they think
Right.
it's a racial problem. It's like they didn't have blacks because they were just racist. Like no,
So
this is Viking lore. They probably didn't have a lot of black people in that time period.
I will say this. The issue isn't so much people being mad at I think people are also mad at the wrong people because you can only take the job that you're offered, which I understand. So I would say that if I was an actor and actress and I was familiar with something like How to Train Your Dragon, or if I were familiar with Captain America, if someone offered me the role of Captain America, I probably wouldn't take it. I would say, hey, do you have John Stewart? Let me get War Machine or Static Shock. It's some of these other producers that aren't black that are making these decisions. And it means that people wind up getting mad at black people specifically for taking the role that are being offered. And so I think that was what makes it worse. It makes it harder for other people to actually see the character that they're being portrayed.
Mhm.
Especially if you think, and I think the other issue is it makes it so that when conservatives see someone that is black playing a character, they automatically get upset and see something like, oh, it's DEI or that's not the character. And it's like, well, technically for this, it is. So when people get upset about hearing that Idris Elba was considered for 007, it's like, well, 007's been many people over 70 years, and they were going to add in a lore specifically for Idris Elba that says it's a designation. And Idris Elba technically could go anywhere in the world.
Mhm.
He is British, so it could work. And
Mhm.
people were saying, well, no, he's not white. It's like, well, technically, this could work. It's like, hey, who would you rather have as 007? Would you want Tom Cruise or Idris Elba as 007? And you're like, oh, in that case, we want Idris Elba. So it makes it incredibly difficult when you're making decisions on what you think should happen, and people are just taking the job that they're being offered. You know what I mean?
Also, the last thing I'll ask you about before we head on a little bit here is the Superman video you did. So you had a Superman video titled
Mhm.
"I Was Wrong About Superman." So
Yes.
just from the title, I can take it you actually liked the James Gunn Superman movie.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by it. I actually did. It
Did you
was
give it a
fun.
rewatch since seeing it in the theaters?
No, I mean, once in the theaters was enough for me, actually. I usually know maybe like 10 or 15 minutes in whether or not I'm ever going to watch it again. If it came on FX, I'd watch it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Like if you had
Like
that
you would
FX.
rewatch. Would you rewatch like clips of it on YouTube if they ever drop
Yeah,
like
oh
a
yeah, I did. I rewatched a lot of clips. Like my favorite scene was Mr. Terrific. Like that was actually
yeah.
a
Yeah.
really great scene. But I mean, this is the issue. When Snyder's version of Superman came out, that's based on Earth One Superman. Like if you read any of the Earth One books for Superman, that's kind of
Mhm.
how that's that arc that he got it from for the most
Yeah.
part. But it's actually really dark when you watch that movie because like Superman doesn't kill or why is he
Yeah.
Rise of the Press. I don't like the fact that his father died. It's like, well, this is the dark version of characters y'all said y'all wanted, or else the boys wouldn't be popular. And so when people got what they wanted, they're like, well, this is too grim. It needs to be more like Marvel. So when you got a guy that actually got one of the first blockbusters that wasn't the Avengers in James Gunn, who made, you know, uh, good Lord, Galaxy, oh, Guardians of the Galaxy,
Yeah.
he makes, the character, he makes him, the characters was actually upbeat. He didn't really curse like, "Oh gosh, darn it, guys." That crypto wasn't his. I understood that. I like the fact that Ma and Pa Kent just like regular people. I like the trope of them saying Jor-El and his mother were like, "Yo, these people are stupid. If they oppose you, crush them. Make babies, repopulate the world." I was okay with that. I like the fact that it had only been 3 years since he'd been Superman at that point. He has his argument with Lois, which is honestly, I've gotten to arguments like that with my wife, exactly like that. Which is I know, like, oh, this is he actually is drawing on something here because that's an argument that I have with my wife. It's the fact that he's only been at this for 3 years and he might need a little bit of help. There's no Justice League, but there's a Justice Gang. They actually put in real characters like Mr. Terrific. They had
Mhm.
Hawk Girl. I don't necessarily that one's okay. It's not Shira. It's like a second iteration.
Yeah.
And Nathan Fillion actually nailed Guy Gardner, which I think I was gonna like.
I think
I
my favorite portrayal in the movie is still gonna be Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor was very good. It was very,
very
very
cast.
good, very, very precise. I mean, the part of the
Yes.
movie where he blows that guy's fucking brains out because he's just
Mhm.
that far gone. Oh,
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
There are some issues I have with the movie.
Yeah.
But overall, I liked the movie. I enjoyed my experience in watching it. I think my biggest problem is still going to be the Jor-El thing because I feel like when you hear James Gunn talk about it, it was his way of just basically trying to be different rather than there actually
Mhm.
being a legit reason behind it. But then again, you could also argue if you're in that scenario that if you're just looking at it from Clark's point of view, he's idolizing people that he never met and
Mhm.
and he's never actually heard and interacted with them. So when you're hearing that for the first time, it could be a little jarring. I've seen people argue it a lot of different ways. I think, like I said before, I don't actually like the decision at all, but I can understand it from a point of view of like he never actually met them and he actually never actually hear it's like a part of the message to ever know what they said. Like he essentially was idolizing them. He never even met these people, honestly. Because
Yeah.
you mind this happens a lot. Well, with a lot of kids who are adopted, they never meet their actual parents or parent that want to be around them. Then when they do meet them, they're like, this person probably is a piece of shit, honestly. The
Yeah.
person
I
that
mean,
raised me is the
I
better
I
person.
would I would say they're always having interpretations of every character of Superman but his parents. I would say, do you realize how arrogant you would be if you shot your kid off into space as an infant and you knew exactly where they were going to go, accounting for every permutation reaching Krypton to Earth?
Honestly,
And
Jor-El's pretty basic. You look at it from a real life point of view, not like a comic point of view. There's horror. I was in here. There's whores here. Jor-El knows these women are all here for the streets. He knows that. He knows. What's crazy? Like, it's a funny thing, but hey, women here are for the streets, dude. Fuck. He
oh
knew it.
man,
He knew it going in. These women here are all for the streets.
all I'll say was he's basically saying, "Yo, look, you're going to be stronger than everyone here. You're going to be much taller. You're going to be much more smarter than
That
everyone
shows you
here."
the moral thing with Superman. In the movie. He didn't want to be that way. When he heard that and he was battling with it in
Yeah.
his head, he didn't want to be that way. Yeah, guys, that's Superman. He's not going to
Yeah.
obviously pick up and
Well, that's what.
rape some bitch on the street. Like, he's not
Well,
going to do
well,
that.
well, no, but I mean, that's why I got upset with James Gunn for removing when that person threw a can at Superman's head, and he actually like winced, and they took that scene out.
Yeah,
So
I
when
heard
he
they did.
gets hit,
Yeah.
he does like, no, that's you giving that context. You feel that. So if people get upset with like Lex Luthor saying something under his breath when he's drinking coffee, it's like, yo, that's what happens when you're upset. Like you're so angrily focused that you're gonna miss something when someone's being a dick to you.
Oh
So
yeah,
I
like
actually,
that
I
scene made more sense when you watch it in the
yeah,
movie. Like, no, yeah, that's and keep in mind, it's not just his dog, that's his cousin's dog. You know how mad she's gonna be if you fucking lose her animal or animal gets killed by some random dude. Like, yeah, it would be a
yeah,
pretty bad thing. Like,
mhm,
my only real issues are most of the Jarrell thing. I'm mostly gonna always be back and forth on. I didn't like
mhm,
how weak he was. I think he was just a generally very weak character, but I knew that going in because James Gunn said he was not going to be as strong. I think he needs to be
mhm,
a little bit stronger for the sequel. He was a little bit too weak for me. hopefully that's improving in the next movie. Hopefully.
I I would say he's not as strong because his opponents haven't necessarily had to bring that out of him to this point. Because
Hmm.
we're watching him lose his first battle, and he lost technically to himself.
Hmm.
And you're just like, okay, well, technically you only lost to yourself, and the person that won against you has been studying you every day for 3 years.
Hmm.
And so when you put it like that, it's like, well, was he weak, or was Luther as plotting as he's always been? And this is what happens when Luther has time to plan.
Hmm.
Which is why I think that when they make uh part Superman Part 2, if Warner Brothers doesn't scrap it, it's gonna be Lex and Superman having to team up against Brainiac, which makes sense because that you have to show the dynamic of why Clark and Lex should make sense, but they don't. Like there's a whole book that was done on Luther. It's a comic book, basically. It's just called Luther, and it's the Superman problem from his perspective. And Luther is so upset with someone that everyone's looking to as a god, but on a dime could flip and murder everybody.
Yeah.
And so his
But
goal
you
is to
feel like
show.
this movie was a good start to the new
Oh,
DC
fantastic!
universe.
I
Okay.
do. This is technically the reboot that they needed. The thing is, everyone. I understand if it did make. I understand it's not. Didn't make a lot of money. Fine. The issue is the fact that you've got so much more story to tell, and Marvel is kind of trying to reinvent their own wheel. So
Right. Right.
people are half in, half out on that. With Superman, you've got the fact that Mr. Terrific could have a spinoff. Like I watched the Mr. Terrific movie. That's through the multiverse right there with Mr. Terrific.
Hmm.
You could do the point where my choice for Batman is going to be. Do you know who Robbie Amell is?
I know I've heard of that before. I know I
You
heard
know,
that guy's name.
you've heard Stephen Amell, Stephen
Robbie
Amell,
Amell. Yeah, that's Steven's brother. Oh no, Robbie.
cousin,
He was
cousin,
Firestorm. He was Firestorm in
right?
the CW universe. Yeah, I remember him. Yeah, awesome actor. Yeah,
He's Batman. That would be my Batman.
you're right. Yeah,
He's a
he's
great
good.
Batman. I honestly,
Yeah.
so he could play someone that's a billionaire that kind of could come off as a douchebag, but
Right.
could do the scruffy gruffy, and his chin actually would probably look good in a cowl.
Yeah.
So if you made him your Batman, and this guy is your Superman, I think that works.
Also, when you're talking about the box office, when it not making, I don't think it actually made a lot of money given the
It did.
budget and the marketing. What's weird, but people can't do that. People can't just admit to themselves, "Hey, I like this movie," but it probably wasn't a financially successful movie for the studio. Their brain is like, "I liked it, so it had to have been financially successful." It's like I like the movie too, but like let's not pretend
Mhm,
it made like gangbusters. But the other thing that people
mhm.
don't bring up in the argument that people have with this kind of movie is where the people don't even know this because they're fucking retarded. Ticket sales have been going down for movies. Even and keep in mind, DC is trying to start a brand new universe in 2025 when the superhero movie craze is pretty much over. Like at this point now, superhero movies are going to have just a cap to them. Like $700 million is probably going to be the highest they're going to be earning. Like Fantastic Four only earned 500. This one only earned like what 616. This one Superman only earned like I think we're just going to be hitting a cap. Like as highest is going to be like 600. Lowest is going to be Thunderbolts only hit like $300 million. And people say like it's underrated characters and all that stuff. I think it's a combination of a lot of things. But I think the main biggest point is people just don't go to the theaters like that anymore. And the superhero craze is kind of over to a certain extent where it's not the newest, hottest thing right now where people just go and rush to the theaters and see everything now, you know?
I I would say this. I think the main issue is that it's not necessarily the superhero genre, it's the superhero you choose. Because when you
Mm-hmm.
hear Superman, you're going to think that I need visual effects for him flying. I need to see lasers
Yeah.
come out of his eyes. I need to see the super speed. I need to see the super breath. I need to see, different angles of him flying. That implies it's going to be very expensive. I think, and what James Gunn did that was really smart was when he took on Guardians of the Galaxy. Nobody really knew who they were unless you read comics because they really hadn't been
Yeah.
out there since like they've been out there since the 70s, maybe the 90s was the last time they were invented. So the thing is when you do Guardians of the Galaxy, that doesn't have a lot of name recognition. His overhead was pretty low. He got Batista, who hadn't really acted in anything outside of wrestling, and Chris Pine, who was the dork in Parks and Rec. So his overhead was really, really low. So when the movie came out and it was so much fun, like, hey, it was low risk, very, very high reward. So now you start being in charge of properties that have such a history. that are going to imply that you have to get the casting right. You've got to get all these budgetary constraints out the window, and you wind up almost overspending on the movie. So I
Mhm.
think that for DC, you got to choose. You got to choose your characters. So if you wanted to do like, you could probably do Red Hood. Red Hood would be great. That'd be like a John Wick movie right there. That's
Right.
very simple. That's no special effects
The
needed.
the only thing that I have as a problem that with people when they talk about the universe online is like this is the same thing that Sony went through when they released the first Venom movie and it made like almost $900 million. Sony thought that the numbers were just going to go up and up and up based off the superhero
No,
craze that they released Venom under. There's a good chance Supergirl drops next year and it does not good based off the landscape of the movie theater industry because the landscape of the movie theater industry is like a bunch of movies come out and they just do not do well. Most of them don't even break even, which is very bad. Like
don't.
that's what I tell people. Kind of you got to take it one movie at a time. Sony really thought those numbers are going to go up and up and up. No, those numbers just only went
Mm-mm.
down and
It's not gonna
horrible.
go down.
Yeah,
Nah,
there's
it's it.
there's no guarantee Superman's success, if you want to even call it that, is going to lend to Supergirl. There's no indication of that. We can't even guess for that now.
So, do you know what it's supposed to be based off of?
That's Tom King's Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow book, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and so
And to
I'm
be
just
fair,
like,
it's not
no,
James Gunn directing it, so
I
it might appeal better. I don't. Who knows? Honestly,
it could. It's just I don't necessarily see.
did you read that story?
I
Did you
forget.
like it or anything?
I don't like Tom King. The only
Oh,
good
okay.
book that Tom King ever wrote to me was what's
This
his
Mr. Miracle
name?
book,
Mr. Miracle. Yeah, but even then, that was it was depressing at a certain point. But I mean, but it's on apocalypse, so after a while, it made sense. I
right?
mean, that's kind of the issue that I have. So with DC, you're going to have a hit a strong a string of maybe Earthbound crime fighter, something like that, to kind of get it to the point where it's profitable. Because everyone loved Penguin. I didn't watch Penguin, but everyone loved it. Again, that's about a villain. Clayface is coming out next year. Depending on which version they do, I'm going to be all in on that because Clayface technically should be a horror movie. Swamp Thing with James Wan was awesome. Did you ever see Swamp Thing?
I was never that huge into that character actually,
Okay.
but I remember
So
there was a TV show that came out a long time ago that only ran for like.
That's the TV show. And the thing that sucked is the fact that he nailed the casting. He got everything right.
Mhm.
But do you know who James Wan is?
James Wan. He's the master. He's the horror master. He directed Saw. He directed.
He
Yeah.
did Swamp Thing for this.
Ooh. Okay.
That's our yeah, and it like he nailed it. And so that's why I got upset when they canceled it after that year because James Wan was
I
on it
swear that shit
something.
only ran for like 5 episodes. But that's when
Well,
they released it on that DC Universe app. I remember.
yeah, so it was five. So I think it was supposed to be they released five and said it got canceled because recorded 11, but only I think 8 came out or something like that.
Good
But I
lord.
mean, the issue is that DC has so many characters, but they want like them to do what Marvel did, and Marvel never took above a C level team to the movie theaters.
Mhm.
Like Iron Man C level, Fantastic Four and the X Men are A level. You haven't done the X Men under current Marvel Disney.
Right.
X Men was under Sony, I believe,
Mhm.
and the first two were great. I don't like any of the Wolverine movies. That's just me though. But I mean, you basically only did a half a
Oh,
Wolverine.
Orange Wolverine. Those are. Unless you count. So you didn't like Logan.
I hated Logan. That was
I
depressing.
think Logan is extremely overrated. Honestly, I don't
I
know
did
why people call it best super movie of all time. I don't know where that came from.
no, it's not. I think people
I just
just
don't get it. I just don't see it. I'm like, Days of Future Past eats this alive and every single day of the week, in my opinion, honestly. First Class eats it, honestly. You could even
okay.
argue X2 eats Logan pretty hard. I don't get
Yeah,
this love that Logan gets. I mean, to me, it's a fine movie. I don't hate it or anything. It's like, calling it top 10 worthy, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I don't have Logan even in my top 10.
I would have
I don't.
Recast over it, honestly.
I just think that the character of Wolverine to me is overrated.
Oh, okay.
That's it. I'm not saying you had to make Scott Summers OP for the '97 X-Men run. I just think that why are you poor and you've lived for 300 years? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he's like a male's version of a vampire.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like women's version of a vampire is like Edward from Twilight. A man's version is Logan from the X-Men.
Mhm.
At least the reinterpretation of them. So this whole thing about living forever for living this long, I'm like, I don't really care.
And it was crazy. They killed him off too. It's
Yeah,
very
and then
strange,
they
and they brought him
yeah,
back because
they just brought him
popularity
back.
sales and all that shit.
Yeah.
So- And the last thing I'll ask you is, what was the last movie you watched this year? Was it Superman the last movie you watched in theaters, or did you watch Fantastic Four?
Well, I didn't even watch Fantastic Four. Last movie I saw in theaters, Conjuring 4, actually.
Oh,
I
that's right.
yeah, man, I love horror movies. I couldn't watch them as a kid, and I couldn't watch them by myself as an adult. But once I met my wife, I was like, hey, look, I'm trying to get her to watch a little horror movie almost like once a week
Horror
at
movies
least.
are on. I get why there's a lot of people. It's a very very fun genre. Even in like the really really shitty ones, there will always be a
Mhm,
scene that they'll do that you'll remember in your head. Is like, okay, I hope this is not true. I read this when I was on Facebook. It was an IGN link, so who knows who it was real.
mhm.
Someone said something about, I'm not kidding you guys, a Thing 2 officially in the works. I hope that's not true, because
The
that would be
Thing
stupid.
too.
The Thing 2, the John Carpenter one. I hope
Oh,
that's not real. I had
don't
they
do
tried a
that.
prequel to it. That didn't work. It's like the thing is,
No,
to me, my favorite horror movie ever. I think it was one of the best movies ever made, in my opinion. A sequel? What? Why can't just leave it as it is? It's fine. So it's
yeah, I
good.
so I I think the issue is the fact that studios are really risk averse, and unless you say it's a sequel or prequel or a reinterpretation, they may not want to bankroll it.
Mhm.
Because I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen Talk to Me.
Talk to what? It's an A24 movie, I think, right?
Yep, that was awesome. Like, and the thing is like the all unknown people filmed in New Zealand, like
Yep. Yeah.
shoestring budget, but it did really well. I mean, horror is an easy genre. I think horror is one of the last genres where you can actually have a story in it.
Mhm.
That was great. Smile was awesome. The Nun series, the first one was good. Second one, not as great, but I mean, you can actually tell a story that's actually terrifying. I mean, part of the issue I have is when it comes to like black horror,
Mhm.
like the horror doesn't make sense. It's all like based on race, and it's like you can make something that's universally scary without it having to be specifically black.
So you're talking about Sinners, right? Because I know that was one of your main criticism with Sinners, I think, right?
Yes. So one of the many issues I had with Sinners was like practical things didn't make sense. Like if you're twins, you don't rob opposite sides of the mob and the
Mhm.
mafia because you look the same. So if they saw you here and there, they're not going to think two people. They're going to think all I got to do is find that one guy and off him. The issue I had with Sinners when it came to the vampire trope was the fact that I would have much rather have seen Michael B. Jordan as a half black, half Native American that hunts vampires with a tomahawk. And we'd call it tomahawk. I'd
Mhm.
watch that. That's awesome. The movie took way too long to set up, and you find out that the first few
Oh
guys in
god.
I mean, so I will say this: LL Cool J was the one that destroyed that trope in Halloween H2O and Deep Blue Sea. Only black guy I ever seen in the horror movie not die first or at all in those movies. I was cool with
Which
that.
is
But
which is insane when you watch that movie. How he's getting his whole thigh pierced in by the shark, which is ginormous, and he just doesn't bleed out to death. It's
yeah,
insane.
I was
Even
just
though
like,
they've showed people in that movie just completely getting ripped apart limb to limb, he's literally in the shark's mouth. Thigh. Where's one of the
I
biggest
just
places for blood in your body? And he doesn't bleed out to death. Insane.
you're just like, okay, you know what, movie magic, I'll take it. But yeah, I mean, for Sinners, I guess it wasn't the movie itself. The movie was okay. Now the scene where Preacher Boy's playing and everything's happening, swirling in that house or in the juke joint, like that is beautiful. Like man, like it really gets you in the feels. But when it came down to the actual movie itself, it wasn't the movie I had an issue with. It was people's reaction to the movie. Like calling it the greatest horror movie of the year, it was not that. Making it so that it was on so many other levels. than it wasn't that. And people that did try to, you know, philosophize and explain came off like hoteps. So that's why I did the video just as a hotep, because I said, hey, when you try to do extra layers of this movie that aren't there, this is what you sound like. You sound like a hotep, and you shouldn't be taken seriously. The movie was just okay, but
So you think people
it,
are overrating the movie, actually?
yeah, oh yeah. I think, I mean, I get it. You had Michael B. Jordan play two people. Like, he didn't even do a good job at that. The Smoke and Stack are technically the same person. They don't act any different. If you like, so all we say is one takes risks more than the other, but no one has a demonstrative personality that's different from the other. And I actually contrast that with people that have played different people on a show. Like, there was a lady that played her twin sister in You, that Netflix show about the guy Joe that stalks women. She did an excellent job. I even said Cynthia Erivo, for how much grief people give her for her antics in general. She played five different people, five different specific characters on
Haley
a
Steinfeld
TV.
was being a thought from there. There was a clip I saw of her just being a straight thought. Of course, she wants BBC. It happens, you know.
I, I I could see the chemistry was there. You know,
Yeah,
it's just the fact that, actors and actresses are professional liars, but they had great on-screen chemistry. It was just the fact that everyone meant to make it a thing, like, oh well, it's about white people are trying to, get after black people's talents and this and that. I was like, honestly, if you watch Crossroads, it's 1983, 84,
hmm,
same concept, but way better. It actually had Ralph Macchio, who was the Karate Kid. It's about him playing blues against the devil, literally, for his soul. Like, that's a better movie than this. Because the point is, I said, you don't even they're not even vampires. You don't know that. That's
hmm.
the issue, because just because they suck blood, that's nothing. That's not different from a
Sounds like my wife,
ghoul.
honestly.
You're like, it's like that's a ghoul. That's
That's the
a
same thing. You had the same
swan.
criticism. You had the same criticism my friend James had, where he's basically just said the same thing similar to you did. He's a white guy, so I was like, dude, you can say certain things. I don't care. He basically worded it like this. He used racial tropes to make a point. When it's like, does that always have to be the thing? It's like, god damn. Like, is there no other way to tell these kind of stories other than racial themes that are supposed to be implied? You know?
And that's the issue that I had about, black horror films in general. Everyone got mad at me because I said Jordan Peele is the black version of M. Night Shyamalan. First movie he ever made was fantastic, got a lot of accolades. Ever since then, not real talent at all. Like, why did you get in the movie? Like, why did I watch this?
Oh,
I
that
don't
was the
really
same
get
way I felt
anything.
about that movie Trap he released. Oh my god. Trailer, I gotta admit, the trailer sucked me in, and I knew how bad this guy was. The trailer sucked me in. The trailer was awesome because I don't have ad blockers, so I see all these new trailers and shit. And I saw the trailer. Premise was
Yeah,
awesome. Premise was awesome. Watched it. That
yeah.
movie's a hunk pile of garbage.
Yeah, I would say whoever does the marketing and the editing for his trailers, that's the real MVP and deserves all their money, because that's the only reason I would actually go in to see that movie. Otherwise, there are easier ways to make black horror. I have a few ideas on how you do it that are actually pretty interesting, and it doesn't have to necessarily involve specifically race. And that's mainly the issue I have with Jordan Peele's movies, or Jordan Peele's movies in general, and especially with him. I wanted to see it at the beginning,
Mhm.
and then I was like, it's not Jordan Peele's movie; he's producing it. But I know where he got the original story, and I said the original story is much better than this. So, 20 years ago, Damon Wayans made a movie called Behind the Smile. It's out. It's been out for 20 years. It's the same concept as him. Basically, it's about a comedian that goes out to LA to shadow his favorite comedian to learn what it takes to make it in the business. And it's all like the stuff that he has to go through to be the next comedian. And I said, if you want to talk about racial tropes in that, about, I think it was either Eddie Murphy or Richard Pryor said only one black comedian at a time. If you wanted to explore that, you could with that movie. But when Jordan Peele got the script for it, he changed it and made it football. And that's not the same thing. And so I'm like, if the story was right there for you and you still went ahead and changed it to something else, I don't have faith that you can adapt something successfully and faithfully. You know,
Yeah, because Jordan Peele, he's the guy who did Get Out, Us, and that other one he did with UFOs that came out a few years ago.
nope. Yeah, like
Nope.
I mean, I never watched Get Out as someone that like went to a predominantly white institution. I was like, whatever. I didn't really care about it. Again, Jordan Peele makes movies based on his trauma or what he perceives as his trauma. Like if you think about it, it's the same and the
Uh,
same issue goes for Ryan Coogler.
mhm.
Because think about it, Ryan Coogler got Haley Steinfeld because that's the woman he can't get.
Right?
All right.
True.
The woman that smokes wife is the woman that he has that he can get. And if you
Oh
look at
yeah.
his wife, and the thing is like if you look at his wife, you'll say like, oh, that's what she looks like. Because if Ryan Coogler could do better than that, he would.
Mhm.
So the thing is, but that's always why he's attached to Michael B. Jordan. Hey, make me look good. It's like twins, ugly ass Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger put together. They make good movies, but I mean, you clearly know who's the star when they walk into the room. So, for that, I mean, honestly, if I were so inclined, I'd make my own horror movie. Like
Yeah.
they're like you can make culturally relevant movies that deal specifically with an ethnicity or a religion, and it still be good. Like I don't know if you've seen It Lives Inside.
That sounds familiar. I know it was a
It's
horror movie,
it,
right?
yep, Indian movie, but it's based, but everyone speaks English.
Hmm.
But it's like it's basically about the lore and the demonology in India in America. So I'm like, and that was actually really good. I like that concept of you can tell a story that based on an ethnicity and a religion,
Yeah.
and it actually is really good. You don't have to have name brand stars or anything like that, but you can tell a good story and it still be faithful. I like that movie. So you can do that without having to make it solely about what you think race should be
Right. Yeah.
and wind up losing out on the story.
And keep in mind, if the racial themes are so prevalent in the movie, that's going to be the talking point most of the time, even if the movie's
Right.
actually good, which is crazy because that's how, to be fair, that's how they want it to be to market it. It's like, hey, black people, here's your fucking white racial theory trash you actually want. Oh, God, these studios are
Yes.
crazy. Ugh. So, last few things I'll ask you, man. First thing is, do you have anything planned coming up for the rest of 2025 going into 2026 that you would like to let the audience know about?
Yeah, so guys, I will be having my next episode of Late Night with Late Ego at Night next maybe 2 weeks on a Monday. I've got a special guest lined up for that. Gonna be talking about his career over the last 3 or 4 decades. Got a lot of work he put in. Not this coming Sunday, but the Sunday after. My wife and I will be back for Ordinary Games as well. And by January of 2026, we'll be having our next toy stream. If you guys love action figures, you love collectibles, join me, Roman of the Empire, Joker's Voice. We all talk about our favorite toys as well as revealing the toys we've gotten over the last few months. So
Hmm.
check it out for that.
And the last thing
Oh,
I'll ask you, man.
sorry, dude.
You're
Last
good.
thing. I'm
You're good.
sorry.
You're good.
I will be on Wednesday night is overbooked with Joker's Voice, Bradley Duke Devil, and Matt the Unbearable 73 on Joker Voice's
God,
channel
man.
at 6%
Wrestling
6 p.m.
isn't
Pacific.
isn't wrestling for nerds? God damn,
Dude,
man.
I thought it was until I started. They got me back into it just to watch WrestleMania,
Mhm.
and so the more I watched it, sure the outcome is predetermined, but it doesn't change the coordination and the trust you have to have in somebody to do all of these moves because it's one move and you can get concussed, you can break a neck. I mean, the other thing is to tell a great story. Like wrestling is a men's soap opera. It's
Mhm.
fantastic. You've got your baby face trying to make the championship against the shit heel who's been holding onto the belt for like 4 years. And, this moment can be representing, a story that's being told. I didn't know how much more I was going to get into it when I started this, but I've loved doing all this with them every Wednesday, even if it's, me giving a bad take or, JV kicking me out of the stream. Like it winds up being a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. So I actually look forward to it. So 6 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow, Wednesday nights overbooked on Joker's Voice channel.
Hell yeah, man. And the last thing I'll ask you is, do you have any shout outs? Want to give to anyone in particular and anything else you want to say before we head out?
Man, shout out to the wife, man. Honey, I'll be home on Saturday. I cannot wait to hang out with you and see you and hang out again. Shout out also to JV and the rest of the Wednesday night is overbooked crew, and my buddy guy Roman, who's got a show coming up with his OmniX music group. So, dude, hopefully I'm able to catch you guys either doing a live stream of it or catch up what happened on the show you guys had.
Hell yeah, man. It was great catching up with you, man. Can't wait to have another conversation with you. Next year, obviously, for your second appearance, we got to talk about Scream 7. That'll be coming out next year. Actually, I love the Scream franchise. That's one of my favorites. People say don't like. I gotta tell people this. Horror movies typically are pretty horribly written for the most part. I understand it, but they are some of the most entertaining movies ever with people and how the characters act. That shit is all the tropes from that shit comes from that fucking genre. Like, obviously, like they can straight up beat up Ghostface, but they'll run from him because fucking that's just reasons that people do.
Reasons, yeah. I like it too. Yeah, it's one of like the most organic slasher movies that you can have. You know, there's nothing powering him that's mystical. It's just someone happens to be wearing the mask this time, and so you're spending the entire movie like an adult version of Scooby Doo. Who did it?
Yeah.
And that doesn't go away.
Scream 1, man, still one of my favorite horror movies ever, or thrillers as you call them. Scream 1, that shit holds up so well. That shit's so awesome. You know, the later ones all have varying degrees of quality. I think Scream 4 got better with time. I do say that, you know, because I feel like Scream 4 was as liked as when it first came out. I feel like it became a more liked movie.
4 was with the cousin, right?
That was with Kirby. That's when that character Kirby got introduced or whatever. Fuck it. It was when they had. The problem with Scream 4 is the lens. Whoever filmed that movie had the dirtiest lens ever. That shit is dirty. It's just all greasy and looks disgusting.
Which one was Sydney's cousin that was a killer?
I think that was the one. I think
that's
yeah.
I mean, to me, it made sense when I watched it. I haven't watched 5 or 6. I don't know if they're worth watching at this point.
I like 6 more than 5. That's just my opinion, but I don't think 5 is bad. But 5 definitely has a moment that you're probably not gonna like. But then again, I'll let you decide that whenever you watch them. So I would just say thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show, and we will see you